So let me tell you what is Monte Carlo. Let me share my screen as well. So thing is that I will be covering is Monte Carlo. So it is basically analysis which uses probability to solve problems. So it uses solve problems. Let me take a Jupyter notepad. So I'll say Monte Carlo analysis is used to use ability to solve business problems. So it is basically a simulation. So it is a kind of simulation that is used for assessing the impact of risk and reducing uncertainty. It is a kind of a simulation that helps in understanding the impact of risk and reducing the uncertainty. So it is basically used this is commonly used or basically used in financial project management sectors. So if we talk about the project management of finance, the major of the risk is involved there only. So where it normally says that if this will happen, then what we will do? What is the probability of happening of this? So let's example in project management, it is being said that. So let's example in project management, it said that what if we're not able to meet our schedule? What is the thing that we will do? So this is a kind of a risk that we have. How to deal with that risk? So I'll tell you. So the thing is, every decision that we work on has certain kind of uncertainty, certain kind of ambiguity, and certain kind of like the variability kind of thing. So here we cannot actually predict the things correctly. So Monte Carlo simulation allows us to see all the possible outcomes of our decision and assess the risk impact. So This is see all the possible outcomes of all the possible outcomes and assess our decisions basis that. So this helps us in better decision making. So I'll take a simple example. So how many of you have played or gone in a casino? Just a simple example which I'm taking. Guys, anybody any idea? So if you have not gone, just say no.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So how many of you have seen? So let's example, if we'll play a game, if you and I, so I'll take any person's name here. Say I'll take say Akash name. Akash, before this, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Akash, let's example, you and I play a game that is tossing a coin game. So here in this scenario, if head will come, then you have to pay me say 100 bucks. And in case tail will come, then I have to pay you 100. So what do you think who will win in the end if we'll play this game for 1,000 times?
There's a probability 50-50 chance, right?
50-50 chance. But every time we do that, either you will be winning some say 500,000 rupees if we'll play it for 1,000 times, or I will be winning by 5-6 turns. Because there is a 50-50 chance, but not in a limited set of outcomes. If we'll play for 10 times, if I'll flip a coin 10 times. So this doesn't mean that every second time I'll be getting a head or a tail. Might be in this 10 times, I'll not be getting head any times. Or say 7 times I get a tail, 3 times I get a head. So in this scenario, you will be winning 200 rupees from me. Or I'll be winning 500 rupees from you. So is this a scenario? Can this be a scenario?
Yes.
But the probability is 50-50. But then also, but whenever we flip a coin, whenever we toss a coin, to a particular extent, considering a single toss, it is said there's a 50% chance of getting a head, 50% chance of getting a tail. But what will be the scenario if we'll toss it for 1,000 times? So let's example, my organization is basically an organization which works for casinos, betting, and many more things. And now I need to influence people for 5,000 or 1,000 times, which side they will take, whether they will take head or tail. If they will, let's example, so I need to assess within my organization if for 1,000 times a coin is being tossed, so which side to be chosen. So am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
So let's example, the probability of head in a coin is 1/2. So, but can we prove it experimentally? So basically, if you use Monte Carlo analysis to simulate the tossing coin problem, we toss it for 5,000 times to find out why the probability of head or tail is always 1/2. If we repeat this coin tossing exercise for many more times, then can we achieve higher accuracy on an exact answer for our probability, whether the head is 1 by 2 or tail is 1 by 2, or what will the solution? If I toss it for 5,000 times, 10,000 times, 20,000 times, so is this actually the 50% probability of head or 50% tail, or what is happening? So Monte Carlo analysis is used in making this type of decisions. So let me tell you, it is used in making decisions that are based on ability. Okay, guys. So let me take an example here. Let me take an example here. So I'll say, so I'll cover more examples as well. This is one of the example. Import random. Import numpy as np. Import lib dot plt. As a shift enter. I'll say def. I'll define a function that is toss. Okay. And here I'll say return random dot randint either 0 or 1. 0 is say head or 1 is tail, whatever. It's a shift enter. So if I'll say random dot randint 0, 1, I'll get output 0. Again place it, I'll get a 0. That is tail. Again head. Again head. Again tail. Head. 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 So we are seeing multiple times we are getting head. Since the coin is unbiased and there's a probability of getting a head or tail 50%. Are you guys with me? Are you getting me what I have been trying to do?
Yes, sir.
So now what I'll do is I'll create an empty list. ls is equal to create empty list. I'll say def Monte Carlo n. Here I'll say results is equal to 0. I'll say for I in range n. N is basically the value which user will be entering. So I'll say flip result is equal to toss. So whatever, so if I'll say, if I have this function, let me cut it. So if I have this function, shift enter. So if I'll say toss, this is 0. If I again say toss, It will say 1 because toss is a function that is calling this function only. If I'll do like this, ls is a list which I have taken, Monte Carlo n, result equal to 0 for I in range n, flip result equal to toss. So whatever will the outcome of flip result will be saved in, whatever the outcome of toss will be saved in flip result. Now I'll say results is equal to results plus flip result. So what we're doing here, so whatever the outcome 0, 1 or whatever is coming, I've been saving it in a results. So if I'll say print results, I'll say shift enter, I'll say Monte Carlo, say 100. I'm tossing a coin 100 times. So result is, first time it is 0, result is result plus flip result. Second time it is 0, third time it came 1. So the addition of the previous things, the result is 1, 1, 2, 2. So every time flip result is coming 0 or 1, it is being added to results. This is the outcome of results. So 100 times we have seen, we have flipped the coin and we'll say 52 are the ones, because when 0 is added, it won't be any outcome. It won't be any addition, but when in case 1 is added, 52 is the thing that is coming. Okay, guys. So here I'm just adding whatever the output of flip result in the results as a value. I'll say prob value is equal to results divided by I plus 1. So why I have done it? Now I'll say print prob value. I'll say shift enter. I'll say Monte Carlo. I'll say 10. So shift enter. So now when the 0 was there, it is being added to result. So results, whatever the sum is, divided by 1. It starts from 0, so it divided by 0. That is 1. 0 plus 1, 1. Whatever the outcome is. So every time, whatever the result is that is being added, I've been dividing it with I plus 1 value. Say if 5 times it is coming, the value is divided by 6. 5 only, say. 6 times 6. How many times it is being repeated? I've been dividing it by that number only to get the probability value. So here if I'll say 0.4, this means 0.4 is the probability value of getting 1. 0.640. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
I'll say ls dot append. I've been adding whatever the probability value is coming. I'm adding here and I'll say prob value. The probability value is being added and I'll plot this probability value. I'll say plt dot axis line is simple line. That is basically this line normally goes like this. If this is a thing, it goes like this. Like this. Digital kind of a line. So I'll say plt dot axis line. So y is equal to 0.5. That is the center value. I'll say color is equal to R. I'll say line style is equal to this. So I've added a center line here. I'll say PLT dot X label. I'll say repetitions. PLT dot Y label. I'll say probability, and PLT dot plot list one. I'll say now shift enter. I'll say for 5,000 times. I'll say shift enter. What is the error that came? Okay. Yes. Okay, what is the error that came? I'll say shift enter. I'll say shift enter. Oh, I have to remove this print. So now we'll see what will happen. Outcome. Still printing. See, the probability is 49%, 49%, 49.5, 49.5 that we change. But in the end, we'll see. 50, it has these 50% probability getting a head, 50% probability getting a tail. It's still working. So are you guys with me on what is happening right now on the screen? It's still working. So I think I shouldn't have printed. I should have only gone for the graph that would have been here. But now let's wait for the thing to happen. And I'll show you the graph. What is the final probability that comes? So let me explain you this function again. So what we have done is we have said for I in range n. So we have entered 5,000. So it will say flip result is equal to toss. Toss is either 0 or 1. So whatever the value 0 or 1 is being stored in flip result, I'll say results is equal to results, that is 0 plus flip result. So let's example the value is 0, then the result will be 0, as the result will be 1, 2, 3. So every time the 1 is being added, so this result will increase. If the 0 is being added, the result will not increase. But I have to repeat it 5,000 times. So out of this 5,000, how many times will I'll be getting a 1? So the result will increase that many times. So I'll say probe value is equal to results divided by I plus 1. So if it is a 1,000 times 1,000 values of 500, we got 1. So result is 500. So results divided by 500 divided by 1,000 is I value. So what is the probability value of getting 0 or 1 is being stored in the probability value. That is the thing that we have been doing right now. I'll see where it has gone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with the help of deep learning,
Mm-hmm.
can we use multiple independent variable for multiple dependent variable for two or three independent variable?
So that is not the problem of deep learning. So in deep learning, we don't supply the variables itself. Deep learning is a thing which extracts the features or the variables within itself. So machine learning, we have defined independent variables. But when we use a deep learning, have you seen that we have ever defined independent or dependent variables? No, that is not the problem of deep learning.
No,
Deep
sir.
learning is basically a thing which extracts the variables by itself. So let's example, I've given the images. I've given the image of say 5 types of cats to problem deep learning, and now the deep learning has to predict which type of cat it is. So I've only supplied images. So the deep learning will convert into a matrix. Then all these layers will happen automatically, and the things will happen automatically. Whatever features it will be extracting, it is dependent on it only. So here we are not supplying any independent variables in it. So the variables are the thing which deep learning is extracting by its own.
Okay, sir.
So now the thing is, you see this graph. This says initially the probability went high, 0.8, 0.9, then it becomes normal. Say up to 500 incidents, the probability was high of getting 1 is high. Then with time, the probability came normal to like 0.5 only. So in case we are going for a limited number of rounds of head and tails, then we should choose, then initially we will be having a higher probability of getting heads or tails, whatever it is. But as the time succeeds, as the time proceeds, sorry, then the probability becomes stagnant to 0.5 only. So let me try this for say 200 times. So let's example, Akash and I have been playing this game. So in this scenario, if Akash and I will be playing, then definitely one of the person will be winner, because till 500 times, the probability of either head and tail was very high. Then it saturated and came normal to like 0.5 only. So let me try this. I'll remove this print here from here. And I'll say, I'll do this. And I'll repeat this for say 500. I'll say shift. 500 won't take too much, but it will show you what is the probability of getting any one of the side. You see, now to initial levels, the probability of getting this thing is waving a lot. Now as well, it has not came to the 0.5. It is 0.4948 or whatever. Sometimes initially it went more than 0.5, then with time it has been a lower side only. The probability of getting either one side is on the lower side. So this is a scenario which I have been trying to explain. As the number of trials increase, the probability reaches towards 0.5. But as the number of trials are less, there is chance of getting either higher number of heads or higher number of tails. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Let me take another example for this, because today I'll cover this Monte Carlo analysis and I'll go to some other technique as well. So let's example. So let's example, I have a problem. So what is okay. So I'll take an example. So I have this square. I have this square. Okay. And I have this circle. I have this square, I have this circle. Now the area of this square is, what is the area of square? Is, so let's example, this is the point. This point. This line is known as, say, R. So the area of square is 2R square. Is the area of square. Area of circle is pi R square. The value of pi is always 22/6. Okay. So if I'll say area of square divided by area of circle.
The area of square is 4R square.
Sorry. It is like this. 2R like this. Sorry. Now is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now if I'll say, it will be 4R square divided by pi R square. So it will be like this cone. The area is 4 divided by pi. Okay. This is the thing that we have seen from this figure. So now the thing is, to estimate the value of pi, we need the area of square and the area of the circle both. To find these areas, what we'll do, we will randomly place the pen points on the surface and count the number of the dots that actually fall inside the circle and the dots that fall outside the like inside the circle first and inside the, say, square. So it will give me the estimate. So therefore, basically, instead of using the actual areas, we will use the count of dots to use the area. So are you getting me what I have been trying to do?
Yes, sir.
So I'm saying if I place the dots here. So this is a very known problem that is known as estimating pi using Monte Carlo simulation. This is a theorem kind of a thing that is commonly used. If I'll say I'll place a dot, we'll keep on placing it. So like, increase the size of the dot. So like this. So how many times it has been there and how many times it has been outside? Number of times it has been outside. So that is the proportionate area which will say that the area of the square is that much times larger than the area of circle. So now we know that area of square by area of circle is equal to 4 divided by pi. Now just to estimate, this is one of the method. Now just to estimate, if we don't have the value of pi, what we will do is we'll just place some of the dots here and we'll count how many dots. So it's a random dot. How many times the dot falls inside the circle and how many times dot falls outside the circle and inside the square. So with that's gives us the approximation that how many times it is basically higher. Are you guys with me? So this is one of the example of Monte Carlo analysis. This will find the probability of another dot that is falling inside. So this is one of the problem that is known as pi problem. So I'll come to another problem. So is this thing clear to you guys?
Yes, sir.
So another example which I'll take. Just give me a second, guys. Okay. So I'll take an example. Suppose we are playing a game. So we have 3 doors in this game. How many doors? 3 doors. Sorry. This is a door. This is a door. This is again a door. We have 3 doors. So behind one door, there is a Mercedes standing. Which car? Mercedes. Behind any of these doors, there is a car that is Mercedes. So let me take an example through this text box. I'll say behind one door, there is a Mercedes. And behind the other doors, there is, say, a bike. And again, another door, there is a bike. So out of these 3 doors, you need to open any door and you have a probability that you will be getting a Mercedes or a bike. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
So now, if you open, say, any door, door 3, which has a bike. So the game is, then basically the host asks you, do you want to stick with your choice or do you choose another door? So now the person who is the host, he basically asks you to open a door. The host knows So whenever you host knows like behind which door you'll find a Mercedes or a car or a bike. So now the host basically asks you, do you want, so let's example, you like you pick a door, let's say door one. The host who basically knows like what is the thing that is behind the door, okay, asks you whether do you want to stick with it or do you want to choose another door. Okay. Are you guys with me? So let's example, let me explain. So we are playing a game. So here there are three doors. Door one, door two, door three. I've been asking any one of you, say, I'll say Shweta. Shweta, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll play this game with Shweta. I'll say, Shweta, I know behind which door, what is the thing that we have.
Okay.
So ask Shweta to choose any door. So Shweta
Second one.
Shweta says, I choose this door, that is this second door. Okay, just give me a second. Shweta says, I'll choose this door, that is this second door. Okay. Now I will open this door. Say, Shweta has chosen door 2. I open, say, door 1, which has a bike. So now if I'll ask Shweta, do you want to remain on your decision or do you want to change your decision now?
So I will go to 2 only.
2 only. So based on the probability, so now the probability that was 1/3 has changed to 1/2 of getting a Mercedes. So initially for all 3 gates, the probability is 1/3. But now, so now assume that like now she has chosen door 2. Now I open the first door, which has a bike. Next, I ask Shweta whether she wants to switch the door or not. So now we will see why it is more advantageous to switch the door or not to switch the door. So we can see that here that after I opened the door 1, the probability of the other 2 doors having a car increases to 2/3. Now we know that the third door, sorry, the first door has a bike. The probability of second door having a Mercedes increased to 2/3. So here it is more advantageous to take the decision wisely. Now what we will do, we use a Monte Carlo method to perform this test case many times and find its probability whether Shweta should remain here only or should switch the door. Okay. Now the probability is 1/2 for Shweta for getting a bike, and the total probability of the car has increased from 1/3 to 2/3. Are you guys with me? Did you get me? Did you get the problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll say this is again a very good problem known as goat and car problem. I have replaced it bike, but it is a goat and car problem. So I'll say of Monte Carlo says, I'll say I'll say switch win probability is equal to a list, empty list which I've created. Then I'll say stick win again a blank list. I'll say PLT dot XH line. This XH line is basically the line with on which we will be able to decide, and we will be plotting the another like the zigzag kind of a line. This is a straight line. I'll say so now anything has a probability of 66%. I'll say color is equal to red. I'll say line style is equal to simple. I'll say PLT dot AXH line. I'll say Y is equal to 0.33. Color is equal to, sorry, say blue. I'll say just shift enter. So anything has a problem, just a second. Line. There's no property Y. Line 2D. Okay. I'll say, okay, it's a big Y. Y. So now I plotted it with two lines. One has a 0.66 probability and second has 0.33 probability. Because I need to see whether switching the door is more wise decision or sticking to the door is more wise. Okay. Now I'll make a function here. Def Monte Carlo. I'll say N. I'll say switch wins is equal to 0. Okay. Stick wins is equal to 0. So we can compare this problem. Let's example, we are playing a card game in a casino. So in a casino, normally what happens, like we have, so the game is, I have 3 cards, A and a K. And if a person will get K, he will get 3 times his money. But if a person gets A, then he will get, say, like both the A's, any A, then the person will be losing his money. So now if a person chooses a thing, say I choose this card, and I'll say, do you want to stick on this card or do you want to change this card? So if a person says at that point of time, the person has to, and I open a third card which says it is A only, and I'll ask, do you want to stick to the game or do you want to change your choice? So at that point of time, the person will be opting to choose, like opting to switch or opting to stick is a thing that is Monte Carlo analysis will help into. So this is very much renowned in the gaming kind of applications. Okay, guys, I'll say range n. I'll say random dot shuffle door. So it will randomly shuffle like whatever door it is. So it will randomly picking the car and the bike behind three doors is a function that it will do. Let me write. I'll say k is equal to random dot rand range 2. 2 is either 0, 1 or 2. Okay. This is a choice of a contestant. I'll say if the contestant, so let's example, if door is it a door or doors? If doors k is the whatever the choice that will come, say door 0, door 1 or door 2 does not equal to car. If it doesn't have car, then I'll say switch wins is equal to switch wins plus 1. The person will switch, then I'm adding it to switch win plus 1 if it doesn't have car. Else stick wins is equal to stick wins plus 1. Okay. Now what I'll do here is switch win probability dot append. Switch win probability I'll append with whatever the value of switch win will be in the end. Switch wins, sorry, divided by I plus 1. So this is a probability only. How many times it will come? I will adding that probability and stick win probability dot append stick wins divided by I plus 1. Are you guys with me till now? Or anybody has any doubt? Are you guys with me?
Sir, I'm not getting what is switch wins and stick wins.
Okay, so let's example. Switch win is so now if a person says, so if the door one is opened, door say door, so in the same example, this example, earlier the contestant chose the door 2. Door 2, this is door 1, door 2 and door 3. So now if the contestant has chosen door 2 and I am the host, so any two doors has bike, the third door has say car. Any one door has a car and any two doors has bike. So now the contestant said, I will choose door number 2. Okay. Now if I'll say I'm a host, I opened the door number 1 and I said it came out as a bike. Now I'll ask the contestant whether he wants to switch his choice from 2 to 3 or he will stick to his choice, that is 2 only. Stick choice is if person says no, I will still go with 2, then it is stick.
Okay.
The person says no, I will switch my choice from 2 to 3, then it is switch. So I'm coming
Switch
here
win.
on. Yes, switch win.
Okay.
So here the thing is, I've taken two variables, switch wins and stick wins. For I in range n, the number of times we'll try, say 100 times we'll try, 1000 times we'll try, 5000 times we'll try. The door will be randomly shuffled because every time the third door will not have the car. Every time the second door will not have the car. It will keep on changing on every iteration. So if first player has played this game, now the second player will come. No, definitely the host will be changing the position of the car. He will not keep the car always here only. Okay, he will change the position of the car. So here it is changing the position of the car. Randomly picking car or a bike behind the door, it is changing, shuffling it with as the first from first it will go to 2, 3. The doors will shuffle the things in it. Now k in random range 2. Every time the user will choose between the choice 0, 1 or 2. Earlier, initially the choice is this bike, car. So let's say example, the user choose 3. So 2. Then it is car, 0, bike, 1, bike. So here is a point where user is choosing 0, 1 or 2. If doors k, doors 0th value of door is not car. So if the 0th value is not car and user says I will switch, then the value of switch will increase by 1. And if the user says I will stick, then the value of stick will be increased by 1. Did you get it? Did you get me now?
Yes, sir.
So here I have just increased the probability, switch win probability. If the user has switched, then the switch win probability has increased by, I said switch win is equal to switch win plus 1. Switch win, whatever the value of switch win is, divided by number of iterations it has gone. Similarly, the number of times the stick wins has, the number of iterations it has increased. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Now I'll say here, when the for loop will end, I'll say, print winning probability of switch is switch win probability, the last one, minus 1. If I'll say doors here, I'll say, so now if I'll use this list and I'll say minus 1, It will give you the last value, that is car. So here as well, I've been taking the last thing only, switch win probability, the last position that has came. Switch wins, like the number of times the switch win has been there. So I'll show you. Just give me a second. I'll say switch wins. Stick. Let's say this is a scenario. I'll say shift enter. Okay. It has a comma within it. I'll say shift enter. Function is there. Now I'll call this function for 1000 times. Monte Carlo 1000. So I'll call this, but before that, I'll say switch win probability -1. So every time this switch win is being appended by a value, by the probability. So I'm saying appended by the, so switch win, say let's example switch win comes to 500. 500 is the value switch win. Divide by 500. The probability is 1. Here the probability is say 0.75. So I'm taking a last value where it is basically the last value of the switch win probability list I've been taking, and I've been like using this Monte Carlo to repeat 1000 times. So I'll say shift enter. So it's saying when you switch, the probability of winning is 64%. If you stick, the probability of winning is 36%. Are you guys with me? So the last value with all the amendments, so it is being amended. Switch win, how many times it has been iterated, how many times it has come. So it is saying in the end, if the user will switch the option, then the winning probability increases to 64%, and the user will stick to his decision, then the value will remain 36. So the probability of winning will be 36%. Are you guys with me, or did you get it what I have been trying to do? Anybody who is not getting, or anybody who is not getting at all, anybody who doesn't know what is Monte Carlo? So I am fine with any of the doubts which you guys have. Anybody, any doubt? So I'll give you guys a quick 10 minutes to revise this, to see what is the thing that we have been doing. So in case you come up with any doubt, then do let me know. I'm here only. So for next 10 minutes, I'm giving it to you guys to just to have a look on the thing that I've just mentioned. And I'm reducing the size so that I'll be able to cover more of the program. I'll post it here only. And I'll run this again for you guys. So here again say, plt dot plot switch win probability plt dot plot stick win probability. I'll say shift enter. Ideally, it should have plotted as well. I'll say before this, I'll call. Okay. Colleagues. I'll say call here. I'll say so I'll see how why it is not plotting. So guys, I am putting this code in front of you. I'll take a 10-minute short break for you guys. So in case you want to revise it, then revise it. Else, like I'll be resuming in 10 minutes and I'll ask for any doubts. Else I'll cover some more algorithms that we will cover. Is it fine, guys?
Okay, sir.
Sorry, your voice is breaking. Come again.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sure. Hello guys. So anybody any doubt?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, this is Monte Carlo, or do you have any libraries or something like that?
This is basically, I'm not explaining about like a project. I'm explaining the technique, how Monte Carlo analysis works. And the place where it works is basically in gaming studios, in casinos, in whenever it is comes to like a financial kind of a like a domain where we need to predict like what will be the next outcome. If in case any of the next outcome is have an equal amount of probability, then which option do we go with? Is the thing where the Monte Carlo analysis is used. It is not used very often in the industry. So this is just a concept which I have been explaining.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So anybody any doubt in it till now?
No, sir.
Guys, I'll be saving this on your LMS portal. I'll be file. I'll say download as IPINB. I'll say join folder. I'll say Control C. I'll say Windows D. I'll say class. I'll say page. I'll say Control B here. I'll say to guys. So let me go here. So the another topic that I will take is hidden Markov model. So sorry, Markov chain or hidden Markov chain. So do you want me to cover it right now or do you want me to cover it tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah, you're not audible.
Hello,
Come
sir.
again. Yeah, hello.
Sir, I plotted the graph, sir, but graph is actually mirror image to means for
Sorry, your voice is not audible.
am I audible, sir?
Yeah, now it's better. Please come.
Yeah, sir. I plotted the graph, sir. But the graph actually the mirror image to each other, sir. Means winning probability and switch probability and stick probability. The lines of both the graph are mirrored to each other, sir.
So they should not be mirrored to each other because you see the probability of say winning is 0.641. So it might switch like this. It will initially it is equal, then it goes, and over a long time it will go like this. And in stick it will be initially high or low. Then with time it will be point somewhere circulating around 0.33% or something like that.
I tried different ways. I mean, so I fed it with a different input, sir. But I'm getting the mirror image, sir. Means that two lines, sir, mirror to each other.
So would you be like, would you be able to show me?
Sir, sir, you had defined the two lines above, sir. There AX line, sir, PLT AX line. So we need to define it within the for loop, sir, where we plotted PLT plot about that. Yeah.
Like this?
No, sorry. Here. About PLT plot.
Okay, okay. Within the for loop. Like this?
Yeah.
I'll just shift, enter. I'll say Monte Carlo 1000. I'll see now what will happen. So there's no point defining it in within for loop because, okay. Guys, my system has restarted. Just give me a moment. Let me put the charger. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me put the charger. Just give me a second. So actually there is no point putting the lines within it because every time with every point, so it keeps on making the graphs. So ideally this should come outside only.
No, sir, I've fetched that code inside the for loop. It works, sir.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, it might work, or it might work with the previous method which I have tried as well, but so there might be some things here and there. But the thing is, like when I put it within for loop, it's unnecessary iterations for the thing which I actually don't want to be iterated. So the thing which I'm saying. Let us see. It is running. Okay, let me share the screen.
Both the way, actually, sir, we can do both the way, sir. Inside
Yeah.
for loop or outside for loop.
Yeah, outside as well it worked. Like it should work. That's the thing which I was. Yeah, it has been working, but yeah, see, like one of the line is coming majorly over this and minorly over this. So this is basically the probability of switch and like the whatever probability we have got 688 and 312%. So but we can define these line outside as well. This should work. I'll see why they have it not working. Might be I'm not running them simultaneously. I'll say Control X. I'll say I'll define it here. Also I'll define it here within this. I'll say run it for 500 iterations. I'll say shift enter. I'll say shift enter. You see, now also it is running outside the for loop as
Yes, sir, it looked like mirror image, sir, for switch and stick.
So it's not a mirror image. It is basically the thing is like the probability of switch is always whenever run is more than 60% and the probability of stick is always near to 30-35%. So initially, the probability of these are starting with very high values, because for the one or two instance, it is not like a thing which should be addressed. But with time, as it progresses, you see the final probability, how it is going. So it is basically a kind of a mirror image, because if one is getting a probability of 70%, then definitely second will be getting a probability of 30%. So the total will be 1 only.
Yeah, out of 100. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So anybody else who has any doubt? This is just a concept which I explained you. So the thing is, we will be covering one more algorithm which are basically important with respect to the concept only, that is the Markov chain analysis, which I will explain you probably. So today we don't have time to cover it, but for tomorrow I'll take a class separately for this Markov chain analysis only. I'll cover this in well detail. Will this be fine for you guys?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. We'll meet tomorrow.
Anybody any questions? So I heard a voice, but like that was breaking. If anybody has any doubt, do let me know right now, or will meet tomorrow at again 8:30 only for the discussion of the another important concept, that is Markov chain.
Sir, we'll meet tomorrow, sir.
Okay, okay, guys. Thank you very much.
Hello, sir.
We'll meet tomorrow again. Yeah. Please.
Sir, I actually have a doubt from CNN network, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I formed the created the model, but while the fitting means while training, the training accuracy is fine, sir. But problem comes for the validation loss and validation accuracy. Sir. It keeps on fluctuating, sir. It is not going to match the like at the training accuracy. Sir, is it a problem of overfitting or?
Yeah. So the thing is, if it is not matching the accuracy, then might be you're adding extra number of layers, or anything that you're doing within the CNN network has more number of layers within it. It should be less.
So in that case, should I use dropout?
Dropout is a good option that you should use, and another is you should first reduce the number of layers in it and increase more of the epochs.
Okay.
So that it will be able to run better. Whenever say the accuracy or the thing that is 20%, if it becomes stagnant to 20% for 5, 6, 7 iterations, then it will be able to sustain to it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? Any doubt? Oh, guys, if you don't have any doubt, then we'll meet tomorrow same time 8:30 for the another algorithm that is like Markov chain or hidden Markov chain we'll cover. It's a same concept kind of a thing that we have covered.
Yes, okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow.
Okay, bye.